I think it's important that I give you context in all that I'm saying, all that I do. First off, I'm a coffee lover. I love mostly anything coffee. I love French press at a time. But to be honest, I only do French press probably once a month. Same with the AeroPress. Pour overs are my thing. I really do understand and don't understand sometimes. And I think that's a frustrating thing about pour overs or coffee, trying to get the right extraction flavors and all that stuff that we know about. But that's my thing. 2 to 3 minutes, you get to see how well you did with your brew. Context is everything. And when somebody recommends something to you, I think it's very important that they give you something more than the good, the bad, and why you should get something. In this case, we're going to be talking about a grinder. The K6 Kin grinder. It's a very good grinder. It's about $100. It can go from espresso to pour overs. I think to French press. I just realized that this grinder is probably the only thing that you really need. There are different grinders out there that bring out different things in coffee. But to tell you the truth, this does what you want, I think, for majority of the people. If you're chasing clarity, this may be the one for you, or it may not be. But if you want a consistent grind, uniformity, this works most of the time. This is actually my espresso grinder. I used to have a Mazda Mini. After a couple pulls with this particular grinder, I was tasting different things than what I was used to when it came to the Mazda Mini. Sure, it's new. Sure, it's going to perform very well. But I didn't realize how magical it really was when it came to pour overs. The coffees were tasty. They were lively. I can easily figure out if I was over extracted and just dial it back down again. Very tactile feel. See? And besides espresso, it's relatively easy to grind actually. Like I said, I think we who review gadgets, who give you our opinions, need to give you more than that it's good and bad. Like I said, I'm a Hario guy. With all its variants, it's just what I love more than anything. But don't get me wrong, I'm starting to understand the excitement of flatbed pour over brewers. I test a lot of things, and as I test things, I do think about why I'm doing things. Who is it for? And a lot of times, I give you a reason or a point of view of who it really is for. But as you can see behind me, you see to the side, there's a lot of crap in this room. There's a lot of things in here that I use all the time, daily. Certain things I use once in a while, or not really even at all. So it's very important that when we review things and give you things and give you an idea of where we're coming from, it's best that we give you context of who we are as coffee lovers. For instance, espresso is probably the most rewarding way to brew a cup of coffee. It's finicky. You have to play with different things that are out of your norm if you don't do it every day. Pulling a shot from the Olympia Cremina is really, really cool. I love it a lot. But to be honest, I probably actually pull a shot once a month, which is perfectly fine. That means that I'm not so much of an espresso guy. And that probably helps you out to give you a little bit more context of where I lean, where I pull, literally speaking, in this whole coffee thing. You may be a French press person. You may like the ease of use, don't mind the sludge, don't mind the muddiness of the cup of coffee. But whatever the reason it may be. Same thing with percolators. There's so many people who hate percolators. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's cool that you kind of get a perfumey taste out of it for the most part of it. I don't like how long it takes to actually brew a cup of coffee, but that's perfectly fine. Different gadgets, different meanings, different reasons for why you like things. Same thing with the mocha pot. Legendary in its own right. It does all the things that you need to. But do I use it every day? No. Do I appreciate it when I do use it? Yes. 9 times out of 10, I'm grabbing some type of pour over. So do realize that's my context. That's my lens. That's the thing that I'm really trying to get you to understand here. I don't know if you're a pour over guy. I don't know if you're a Mr. Coffee drip machine where you just put the coffee in and you don't really worry about things. And then we haven't even gotten to the whole part of light roast, medium roast, dark roast, and everything in between. As you probably know, at least for now, I'm not so much of a light roasted person. I don't care for it. I think it's overrated. But I do like the fact that you can actually push it as far as you want to. And then that's when the complexities of the acidity comes into play. I still haven't really found that sweetness that everybody says that's on light roast. Probably I will eventually. One guy gave me a really good tip of putting some honey on it, and it kind of worked. But that natural sweetness, that's really what I'm trying to look for. I'm trying to look for that balance, because light roast to me just leans too far with one side with just acidity. That's me personally. Medium roast is where it's at. The best of both worlds. You can get the sweetness mixed in with the acidity. I think that's where everybody should be. But everybody's individual. They like what they like for the reasons that they like it. Dark roast. I know. Especially coffee guy talking about dark roast. Trust me, if you haven't tasted an African coffee, Kenyan, Ethiopian, it doesn't really matter, as a dark roast, once you do that, come back to me and let me know if you think it's still crap. It's super sweet, and there's just enough hint of acidity and fruitness in it that just like keeps you going for days and days and days. Don't get me wrong, Brazilian coffees are great too, but they have a time and place for me. Most of the time, I actually drink those during the morning. It's easy to drink. It's not offensive. If I want to bring out more acidity, I'll use like a cone shaped filter. But truthfully, at times, Brazilian and Guatemalan to an extent, if it's not fruity, they kind of bore the shit out of me. See, that's the whole thing that we're talking about here. Context. Things that will give you a better sense of understanding where I'm coming from when I recommend gear like this, the K6 grinder. If you don't have context, you're just going off of this talking head, just giving their opinions without the backstory. I know we can't give backstory all the time, but I guess this is the video or audio or thing that will give you that sense of understanding. But like I said, that's more so who I am. A lover of coffee, but not all coffee. Don't care for cold brew. Iced coffee is iced coffee. It mutes the flavors a little bit too much for me. Sometimes I like that thing that's just more than just basic. Something that exciting. Something that really gets me going in the morning. Something that just makes me think about coffee all the time. Those are the coffees I lean towards more than anything. And as I think about that, the real true game changer in this whole thing of coffee, because I talked about it before, is not really so much of the pour over gadgets. The water is really important. Is the grinders. You can easily dismiss a coffee from this thing or a crappy grinder that costs $15 from Walmart. I know, $15 from Walmart. What was I really expecting? But this right here, $100, this will let you know, give you a better understanding if the coffee is something that's good. Grind up your coffee, taste it, adjust, go a little bit finer, go a little bit coarser, change up your pour technique, bring down the temp, whatever it may be. This will let you know if your coffee is good to you. Because what I like in coffee is totally different than what you like in coffee. So again, what I'm saying here is that we need to think about context. Because context is everything when it comes to making an informed decision for yourself. I love talking about gear. As you see, I have so much gear back here. I have so many videos that I haven't even put out there yet because it takes a while to edit all the gear stuff and coffee talk and all that stuff. I love it a lot. But sometimes we can get a little too hooked on the next best thing. That's just me personally. But again, context is everything. I think it's very important that I give you a better understanding of who I am, what I care about, and the reasons why. One last thing to leave off on you, to let you know a little bit more about where I'm coming from, is that I'm also a coffee roaster. I came to coffee roasting because I felt that I wasn't getting some things out there that other coffees were, that I was presented with. I used to be the guy who will buy $20, $30 bags of small bags of coffee. I'll geek out, learn about them, get my refractometer, and understand coffee that way from a scientific engineer's point of view. And then I will convert that to flavors and to understanding extraction and all that good stuff. But the past couple of years, one thing that I realized is that although the roast matters a lot, it's where the brewing is at. It's where the real magic happens. Because at the end of the day, you can't simply roast that coffee again once you get the bag of coffee. You have to deal with, understand, conquer defeat or understand that particular coffee that you're presented with. This is the thing about coffee in general, is that you really don't know where you're going to be going in this whole rabbit hole. It's pretty cool. But I guess the biggest takeaway that I can leave off with you right now is that we have to come out of the hole and kind of analyze it from a bird's eye view of what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's our journey. It's our walk. It's the things that we like to do and want to do with all the things that we're trying to do with coffee and how it translates to life and all that good stuff, right? So, take everything that everybody says with a grain of salt, including me. Understand their context. Understand where they're coming from. Even understand their motives. You know? Because at the end of the day, I'm not there with you. I would love to be there with you to let you play around with this particular grinder. Or just brew a cup of coffee on a flatbed brewer that I don't really care about, but it's starting to make my coffees wonderful. Or we can even play with the French press, or I can give you reasons why the AeroPress is starting to really come back to me. So, this is me just spitting, just talking. But when you do make a decision about whatever you want to do, remember the context of who that person is, why they're saying it, and see how it is actually a benefit to you. Probably you're not a pour over person. Probably you're just a French press person. Probably you just need a basic, easy grinder. Probably I recommend the K2 to you, or a basic grinder. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's one of those things where, make your own decision. Because why would I tell you to get an EK43, a $3,000 machine, for a French press, or for even the AeroPress, or for whatever reasons? That doesn't make sense. Again, context. That matters more than anything. And then ultimately, you just make your own decision. And hopefully you're happy with whatever that person gave you their opinion about. But yeah, this is Oki at Everyday Beans. I'll talk to you later. Bye.